Oh yeah, talking point platform, TTPTV. Oh yeah, Unale we pledge with love and loyalty to we sweet, sweet mama salute. Now we all come together as one. For tomorrow, now we go make salute.
Yes, family, and welcome back to yet another very important segment where they come through the Talking Point platform. My name is Mohamed Kabo, and today is the 26th of June 2022. We got two main issues there for look at. We look at the proposed voters registration, where the requirement, if actually the Electoral Commission implement it will exclude thousands of eligible voters. That is one. Secondly, we look at the newly owns. As we all know, say coming next month, we'd expect for get newly owns and what does this mean? And this thing gets some very serious analysis here because we find that we want to know if actually not just a political strategy the government to play for reduce the burden to, because right now as we talk about the Sierra Leone burden, the debts what we get is huge. We can explain now how much actually the debts we Salon getting when are trillions of trillions, and how this money where the governments don't approve for can taking effect will help reduce those very big numbers where so scary. With all this and more, you should get the opportunity for sending text message. Of course, we will read it. I do with my colleague here, Doc Alpha, instead going to this himself before we can to the show proper. Yes, Doc, you get a mic.
Good evening and welcome to the program.
All right, thank you very much. Family, I'm not going to side with the camera.
Talking point platform for news every day now we country salute for education, entertainment, political affairs, TV. We putting up Tanga one inside Sierra Leone like a big quantity. We breeze not a shit TV.
So family, let's go straight to the point first. Let's bring down first the main issue here, what they talk about, where if this go into effect, thousands of voters now the country, as they come very close towards election, we don't say we parliament they secretly they debate a particular law where if this law come into effect, it go exclude thousands of eligible voters for the next coming election. And but look at how this very critical. Now, if you follow the news, if you find out say like there's a secrecy. Members of parliament, we say hello members of parliament, then they propose a legislation will go affect thousands of voters ahead of the next election. And this proposal where like a new election law where will replace the 2012 Public Election Act when a 10-year-old. And this the proposal, it gets something there. For example, if you look at the section 32 of section 33 of the 1991 Constitution, where specifically they talk about electoral commission and conduct and how for conduct elections at the country, and the new one will get for kind to effect. Now, in totality, you find that says some of those changes, now that law they okay, because now with this new law, then they allowed diasporans and people who are abroad for vote. And in the sense that even if you get dual citizenship, you still entitled to take part in the electionary process to the highest level. And this became a conflict. We know what in that saga they become up to. It results into some people then lost they lost their momentum. Some people are not even getting symbol because of all that. But this new law they bring come into. Now, when you check deeply, if we quote the Africanist press. They don't get some a copy of the law, actually the proposed law, where they discover, say, the 2022 Public Election Act, where 15 parts, it contains 15 parts in general. It includes the revised provision of the electionary financing, the fixed timeline for presidential election and the new procedure, the requirements for voter registration, and again, of course, the geographical arrangement of electoral boundaries. Although we see say this, completely, approve it, but there are a few things that we need for note into this. We see in part of this particular analysis, we are in the electoral commissioner, they get extensive rights, even more money, and again, they even for their extra power for come up with new things that where they feel say it go help the election for the electionary process, and the president also get extensive rights here for determining how elections will be conducted. And these are the most fearful parts now, the way people look at. Now, if you check the 1991 Constitution, we presidents, I mean, when I talk about president, we talk about all the presidents who done within the 1991 Constitution, then get excessive power. As if this not enough, if we come up with another law again for allowed we leaders and forget more power, particularly when it comes to election, I don't know how they head for as a country. Now, let's bring the Komon-Tok. Looking at this development to take place. Now, this new election law they come. We get the national commission where the press for let this thing come into law. We are in the election commissioner will get some powers, extreme powers, and even so for gets more money, and at the same time the president get rights for even fire a person based on in behavior, but not explain, you understand, based on maybe so in behavior attitude. We're not able to understand what in this mean, and this is a secret bill where we parliamentarians and not do enough yet for sensitize and expose this thing to the ordinary person for what we understand. Now, what you fear by this? Just like what bring the 1991 Constitution already give the president excessive power, and if we can't create another laws and back for give more, how? What I see about the what you take over this?
Yeah, thank you for having me once more. I think first of all, I would say on behalf of we all now on TPP Talking Point platform, we just get news with me to say Honorable Kande Yunkela lost his wife, and we just want to extend we sincere condolences to him and the rest of the family. I mean, and to there they talk about Salon and Parliament, so let me clear that side. But I think as you already do allude to the point of say the proposed law where they want pass the Parliament in totality or entirely, not to everything they way bad. So I think to start with, let people there or feel say we just come na studio and can sit down we like for bash with politicians or with parliamentarians. No. As you'd already say, some of things then in the constitution way sorry in the said provisions way it sort of makes sense, like the same business we talk about people then a diaspora, people that we get another nationality other than Sierra Leone could be eligible for vote into elections. That I mean that fine, you understand. But the law as Africanist press don't publish parts of them and don't get some indications to we clearly show say there are some big flaws. Like you talk about excessive powers we don't want to get to the president. I don't think so we need that. I think the powers for lies within the said commission of itself of how for run elections. I think the 2012 Public Election Act, 1991 Constitution already don't give them enough power for run their own business. So I don't see a president, a sitting president, where could be preoccupied with so many prevalent issues where we face as a nation, forget the work for good the consider when and how for run elections, we supposed to get an independent body. And also when you think about the provisions there about the president get right for fire any commissioner. I mean, we supposed for be progressive, we're not supposed for the go bien instead of with the embrace democratic values. This almost akin to sort of dictatorship, because I mean, imagine if any president no like as a particular commissioner, say Western area for example, they in the favor during the election, you go just go see they don't I think them put and they say for grave misconduct where we not get any clear definition of the constitution or the election act where they don't propose waiting a grave misconduct where the president go just remove the person put. I mean, this is not a good example where we dey do for we nation. I think say we suppose for the get progressive and democratic laws them enacted, not one that we go you go think say na me turn now it go benefit me, but if you end up for lose election, then in future you go and cry foul. You go and cry like sheep where you don't be the wolf, maybe we even pass such laws or propose such laws. And also the way they want now make them say people them way not get this national number also, where the national civil registration authorities them been done they register people them. If you not get a number they go be eligible for vote. I think say 1 year from now to the election time, given that how we we not get proper management system na salon in Africa at large, 1 year or less than to elections, I think say I'm not sure say we go able make sure say people them we suppose forget this said number, we go to make sure say the people and get. I mean, these are things where them for been done do long time ago, the time where people them been they do registration. But I can remember back and forth with different sects of politicians, they argue say this not get anything, the national civil registration not get anything for do with politics or electioneering process, rather than a more focus on developmental. But if you see now, then they bring this civic exercise where we don't take place, where we know say millions of people and they were not been registered for various reasons. Some person various reasons, la not go in depth for beginning people reason, but for various reasons, I think say the few months we get to election, I think say it not enough for make we reach people them, especially in the hard to reach places, impoverished places, then villages the way transportation not go na them place than they normally. The only time I mean where you see them place than they now way election come. Just take a look at the elections that will take place yesterday. At the time that you see videos that them I mean it's sorry full self where you see with towns and villages how they look like. Now the only thing then down and they see politicians and they the people and they
Then they go
dance
there,
and
yeah.
sing.
Yeah.
But I mean you see the environment, say people and really they suffer in those places. So I think say that's good disenfranchise. Go disenfranchise so many people them, if they able do them to time and make sure say the millions of people we stand for be disenfranchised, they make sure say those people are registered, then fine. But I think say the parliamentarians from all the political spectrums and the responsibility now for engage civil society organizations, engage journalists, them engage then constituents them, make people able be self able as normal citizens them able give you input into the said or proposed bill where they want table in a parliament before they make sure say them pass with them, and then we can get a very disastrous elections in terms of maybe in terms of the I forget the word, in terms of the turnout. I want to say in terms of we can get low turnout. I mean, it don't make sense. Election we maybe let's say 3-4 million people supposed for votes, we go get 1 point something, 2 point something. I mean, even though na elections, but it go almost seems like an illegitimate one.
All right, thank you very much. So, Fambula, that's not the thing. Una pay attention to this. It's very important in the sense that if NEC go along with this national identification number. We're not therefore condemn the national identification number. No, it's okay. Because even overseas, those are the very um, small sort of like instruments then, or policies then we don't help for, I mean, support and get an accurate figure or statistics or data of the citizens there. And it's very important for we get as Sierra Leoneans as we move, or even people within the country where legal, or even people who just come, because this is how the Western world move. Everybody in that country they are gets that sort of identification number there, because it's very important for access public phone, social services, school education, work, all this stuff, and forget a data. But we all know this is true. This is true. Not to say we make up things here. Like what you just talked about, so the politician and be say those particular exercise back then was not meant for any political consideration, in the sense that they're not going for example. But now that would just tell you the nature of politicians over at the country. Then go talk one thing today, give them small time, then they change them back. Now people analyze it, perhaps the ruling government don't say people are not happy with them, and majority of the people who are not happy with them now the ordinary man, where they're gonna market, whether that village where things are hard for them, where they get forget a decision for make. So then go rather reduce those numbers where they not saying that the overwhelming majority of them for make them not partake at all per registration of any election or in the general election they can, and allow people and number where they within maybe that then district headquarter town then and the cities there where at least they know say somehow at least then cable manipulate what they say. This is not just an opinion people and they analyze, because why now they bring can this particular NIN, the national identification number, if you get them before you go in for register where then we don't tell we say this thing in order for user. So I feel say if not a genuine thing, then they plan for left and for the next election, not to wait on left few months. Not to wait on left few months and say, okay, then for implementer. If you genuine. Otherwise, if you then say that they use on paper, then get an hidden agenda for that. That's not the thing. Now, again, let me look at one Bankole, of course, this is now household name. Bankole Johnson, when I be one time mayor on Freetown, where himself criticized this particular proposed legislation because this go give the president some powers, and it will even make election become even more difficult for determining them fairness. We don't get too much power. We don't give too much power to the president. So one of the people that we analyze this deeply, for at least we parliamentarians expose this, analyze this thing, put onto people and let us make we own way in terms of contributing to those particular clauses that we feel say harmful for me. All right, this is nothing where we want to let civil society then pay attention to. We want again, with politicians, they always think above politics. Like when you talk a normal, it might be say yes, now you didn't have governance today, you bring kind of law for such a comfort. But we don't know how election they come out. Now you go don't put all strategies say and they win this election. But you never know. Election at two way, it can come out in like biscuits, it can book in other way, in the manner way no want. And now it don't become more difficult for like rig election. Assuming you lost the election, okay? Those laws, like we say no more. If you don't use it against you, how you feel? But I don't cook the medicine, I don't cook the food, you know. So we always elect for level politician them look for the best interest of the country. Now, not push on their side. Because a long topic, we'll count and back someone a day. Lord bring another one about the Leones. The Leones, we know, we country last share the screen, let people understand and let people see. Last share the screen. All right, okay. These are the proposed Leoses. I think we can get for now. It gave a couch confusion a little bit, to be honest with you. It gave a couch confusion because Onoka again for explain the reason why make government decide for bring calm for reduce the zeros there. Anyway, we they can try now for analyze few of these things where according to some people then they talk say now because with that don't amount to very large. Just see if I they bring calm this we just a moment. Okay. Now, if una dey watch, because we want to make sure say things in clearly here. You see, if you watch this side, la just I like this side. You see, this the official figures recently where government put out salon with debt. Now more than 30 trillion, more than 30 trillion. We're over $30 million. Now the highest since independence. If not they watch, you see. So this new money, if they implement that 30 trillion, they go be like 30 billion. You see, 30 billion. So psychologically, he don't get any sort of like, they see like say a big, but this now one of the highest period now the history of a country for now we get a very huge amount of debt, more than 30 trillion. Now, we explain to people and the denominations and what's in the mean. Now, the 1,000 trade way be no, the 1,000 trade way be no, go be 1 leon. The 2,500 go be 2 leon 50 cents. The 5,000 go be 5 leon. 10,000 go be 10 leon. 12,250 go be 12 leon 25. 20,000 go be 20 leon. 20 leon. It go be 20 leon. And 500,000 go be 500 leon. 1 million go be 1,000 leon. 1,350,000 go be 1,350. 1,550,000 1,500,000 go be like 1,500. 2 million go be 2,000. 2,150,000 go be 2,150. 2,500 go be 2,500. 2,800 go be 2,800. 3 million go be 3,000 leon, and 4,500,000 go be 4,500. 5 million go be 5,000. 7 million go be 7,000. 10 million go be 10,000. 15 million go be 15,000. And I mean the list goes on, and on and on. So Labringi can doc this how desensitization, how people can go appreciate this. What are the possibility for say this project will become successful, given the fact that 6 months ago I trust money in a yarn, let's say I trust 5 million leons, and I can give you 500 leons. I mean, it's just psychological because even the bank governor talks say this not for comforting inflation, but just for creates a sort of like psychological value for the money, because we know say money in value don't depreciate. The value of the leon don't go down. Inflation don't they at all-time high. These are some of the measures where the bank governor feels say perhaps will help. So I mean, and you get some implication, even though they are good side of it. It is. So what do you take when we have this sort of I can't lend to you 5 million, I can give you 500 to the level of understanding in the country. If you say this go create conflicts in the country.
Yeah, I think obviously the redomination of the currency more or less I believe see now as the Professor Calon of the bank governor self say more of psychological effect, but also let's say sentimental, you know. I mean, we don't they abroad for a while. We know how much we can feel. You go even bank for go send money where the bank worker go look you say $100, oh 1 million point something, the exclamation we go then at them face, or even other African countries them, you know, the way the way them go even you fellow them go watch you say now you send $100 it don't reach 1 million, and also more of psychological and sentimental value. But in terms of the ability of waiting the money go able buy, I think say more or less go be the same. I'm no economist here, yeah, or a financial expert, but I think say from the little way myself don't read ever since we this issue of redomination come up. Now I think say if whatever amount person been don't owe you to the redomination value wey dem don put am now, I believe say e get the same value. I think the only thing wey go change sometime, for example, the tell wey the person owe you that say 5 million wey you say, and now 5 million go be almost now 5,000
Yeah,
or
5 million. Yeah,
almost,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So like,
Five
so the
million.
only
Yeah, yeah.
difference go be something. Yeah, sometimes
Now
the
five
only
thousand.
how your money go depreciate no more go be like, let's say basic amenities them. Let's say RS. If the person been don't pay you until 1 month ago, 2 months ago, the value where your money for be get for go buy rest or pay for light bill and other things. Until inflation, things they don't shoot up. So if the person delay for pay you, inflation don't go up sometime. But the value of the money where them pull the zeros them, not the same. Now government, the Bank of Sierra Leone and even private banks them na their responsibilities now for continue for sensitize people. You understand? I mean, because you know we know say government not for take certain step. You know, anyhow government get for take certain step, and government get for understand the level of literacy we literacy rate na the country, so then get for make sure say not of us sit down no more na AYV studio or SLB
Yeah.
BC studio and talk big English and quote big financial terms then wey me and you too, if people will not sabi them terms then they will able go Google or look dictionary, but make sure say down there to the local people out there, will make sure say in we local languages them, radio stations then at them places then they then continue for sensitize people and because they not bring conflict. You get for pay me 5 million, you can't give me 5,000. You understand
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
It
Yeah.
sound different.
You Chris, you know, we know how Solomon can look at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it sound different. So for whatever reason way the government decide for do redominate the currency, be it psychological, be it for sentimental values or whatever, I believe say then get a duty to the citizen and make sure say the common man out there self make sure he hear in your own language waiting make them change this money, waiting at the money in value now and all, because at the end of the day even Sierra Leone sovereign debt they will get at the same. Imagine if we get 500 million debt now, almost trillion loans that debt they be, then you pull all lens zero then they at the same 500 million dollars debt Sierra Leone get in a change. Allow cut all the zero then they they change. Now we solving debt that one they will owe World Bank, owe IMF, or even we owe internal debt to owe we self as a nation. So get for change. So as I said, psychological, sentimental values. It sound good. I mean, even we within na diaspora now go get some small respect if you like, amongst the peers there, even when you go to bank for go send money, see say you money, money look valuable. But for the ordinary citizen out there, it's the same effect. Now the same amount of rest, they get for buy the same amount of pepper. Hopefully, because we know we can't every month we dey get inflation. So hopefully things come down, let we feel say okay, we money now the zero they no dey, but not only the zero they no dey, but at least rest in real time value, not in terms of the amount of zero wey dey behind the rest. In real time, in terms of foreign currency exchange, where you put the currency in terms of you in terms of dollar, how much will they buy less? Trade and now law able fit them can effect and me I believe saying that the needed changes the one and of course government anyhow get for take a step, then get for make policy of whatever. Now then work, now make people and vote there out for serve the nation. How best them fi say them go able to serve them people can judge. But I believe say the work way them for the effect now how for make sure say and we deflate. You know, we know they inflate, they go up. You understand? Things prices them, they able to calm down. How we able to create jobs for people. You understand? How we able to steady the exchange rate way person can cross go by Guinea, you know, say the amount where I don't go. So it makes sense where I go buy. Not where you go buy in a Guinea next month. The money don't shoot back now. More and more loans all the time you just they need. You know, I think say now them needed effects and then we need something tangible where people go able to feel say yes, this inflation don't go down, we money get value not because of we remove the zeros then but because the purchasing power of the money.
All right, thank you very much. I think you don't need the main points there. So we go just tap here. Maybe we get one or two. Maybe we don't know if we okay. This one they come up from Abdul Umar. Say nice one and thank you. And another one, Mata Bangura, where they always most time they join with we one for telling plenty thank you all we numerous viewers then for always join with we want for ask on a small favor anytime you go on YouTube and don't forget YouTube TPP Leone and I can subscribe. This is not one way you say they contribute for let the message they go. This is we all responsibility as unions for let at least we say contribute to nation building in the most positive manner. So until then, my name is Mohamed Kagbo. Yes, so you get anything for saying before?
No, I think we've said it all. I go only wish Fambulem a blessed new week ahead, Unatata, and stay blessed.
All right, Fambulen. So until then, we wish you the best. Good luck to all endeavors. Bye bye.